Hi, and welcome to Network Thoughts. We are back after a brief break. I am Amir, and today we will discuss about the month of August and air traffic and how the market behaved. First, let us look at the total numbers. August saw 65 lakh 26,753 domestic passengers take to the skies across 57,498 flights. Traffic is up by 33.9% when compared to July, whereas capacity is capped at 72.5% currently. Also, a word about this capacity capping because a lot of people have made a mess out of understanding what capacity capping is. And this also includes some mainstream media and newspapers who continue to say that the capacity is capped. It translates into restricting the number of passengers in a flight. But that is not the case. If an airline was operating 100 flights before COVID, when we say capacity is capped at 50%, it means that the airline can operate 50 flights out of 100 and not capping a passenger aircraft seats to 50%. So, a airline can operate any number of flights as long as it is less than the capped number, and all of these flights can be full. And you can see that when you look at the load factors are much more than what capping was all about, right? So let us also look at couple of other things. This is the first month when the Ministry of Civil Aviation also started sharing the data about international passengers who have flown out of the country and who have arrived in the country. uh, in August, we saw 5352 departures, which carried 7,12,961 passengers out of India. And the same month also saw 5,527 arrivals. And on these arrived 5,64,888 passengers. This was largely driven by students, where the outgoing number was slightly higher than the incoming number, simply because countries have started accepting tourists. So countries have started accepting students who are vaccinated, and this month saw a lot of people travel to Canada, US, and other places where universities start in couple of days. What is interesting in terms of this traffic is that the traffic started tapering towards the end of the month, and there is a reason for it. uh, the first day of the month was record breaking, suddenly over 250,000 passengers in a single day, terminals crowded, cramped, most flights full. It was a big jump for the airlines. And this was so because the fare caps, which have been placed since last May, suddenly were withdrawn. There was no fare cap till the first day of August. So airlines could sell tickets at any fares which they deemed fit, and that's how a lot of people take to the air. As fare caps came in place, it so happened that you again, for the immediate period, which is 30 days as per the new circular, you couldn't sell it at cheaper rate, and that is primary reason why the passenger numbers started tapering off going forward. Now what we can see from this graph, which you can see on your screen, is that the first day of the month saw some record flights as well as passenger numbers. That number was never achieved even on a single day going forward. It had five peaks across the month, and these five peaks typically represent the 5 weekends which were part of August. This has been the case always. A lot of traffic is seen over the weekend, but as you see, the first weekend very high, then it started tapering, then the third weekend was very low, it again came up on the fourth and fifth weekend. So that is how the flight deployment was, whereas passenger numbers have actually gone down from the first weekend till the fifth weekend. Let us also look at weekday wise average traffic and flights. So what we can see is that Sunday saw the maximum traffic in the week. This was followed by Saturday, followed by Friday, and then Monday. So this has been the norm even pre-COVID. We see the highest traffic on a Sunday or over the weekend, and this traffic flows out on Friday, Saturday some part of it, Sunday maximum traffic, and then again Monday, which is sort of business traffic. And the lowest volume day has always been Tuesday. So even post COVID, nothing had changed in terms of this trend, and we continue to see that. Now if we see the flight count with it as an average, we see that Saturday was the most optimum one for airlines, because the passengers and flight count was going hand in hand, whereas Tuesday, Wednesday, the flights deployed were much more than what passengers took to the air. Now again, this is also the first month when the Ministry of Civil Aviation has started declaring average load factors and OTP. So for August, what I have done is that I have taken average of the load factors which were declared across all the days of August, and we see that SpiceJet had 79.54% load factor in August, followed by Indigo at 73.85. Now the lowest was AirAsia India, which was at 60.08, and the second lowest was Go First at 66.38. With these low cost carrier groups taking the top two and bottom two position, the two full service carriers, Vistara and Air India, were sandwiched in the middle at 71.67% and 70.54% respectively. We'll see this changing pretty often. Uh, Go First and AirAsia India seem to be the worst hit in terms of getting loads. One of the reasons is that when the second wave was at its peak in May and June, these two were the airlines which run the most along with SpiceJet. And SpiceJet, because of its monopoly routes, managed to get back to higher load factors pretty quickly, whereas Go First and AirAsia India have not been really able to come up from where they went during the peak of second wave. No surprises on the OTP front as always. Indigo continues to rule here with 96.79% for Indigo, followed by 96.78 for Go First. This is followed by Vistara, AirAsia India, Air India, and SpiceJet. And that's how the OTP charts were for the month of August. Now let us see what has moved in terms of the market forces actually. So if we see, August carried more passengers than July, and this is likely to have a positive impact on the bottom lines of the airlines, and we would know sometime in October when both Indigo and SpiceJet declare their results for this Q2 of FY22. But prima facie, it looks like the losses will be much lesser than what they were in Q1. The traffic has already doubled from what it was at the worst of second wave of COVID in the country, and things are shaping up well from here on. Now the high rate of vaccination, followed by uh, people taking more care, a combination of revenge tourism, festivals, business travel coming back, all of this will be looked at positively to ensure that airlines gain out of this whole thing coming together. Of course, the lingering fear of third wave and how it impacts tourism as well as business is something which is always there at the back of the mind. But what is equally important to know is that a lot of states are doing away with requirements for RT-PCR and quarantine if people are double vaccinated. So if you have done your 2 doses of vaccination, been 14 days since the second dose, states are welcoming you. So that is something which will have a positive impact, even if we see that a third wave is on the way or third wave will really hit us. So that is something which we should look at positively. Now last bit of thing, these numbers would be a little different when DGCA declares it. Now MOCA, of course, Ministry of Civil Aviation has declared it, but when DGCA declares it, it is never the sum of numbers which is declared by Civil Aviation Ministry. But again, what changes and how the numbers go up slightly is they also calculate the through passengers. So these are all just A to B, B to C. The DGC also adds up A to B, B to C, and A to C traffic into this. So every month you will see the sum of numbers declared by MOCA is a little lesser than the numbers which are declared by DGCA. Since this is the first month for declaring OTP and load factors on a daily basis, we will know how it moves when we get the DGCA report, which is around mid of the month. So we'll get it between 15th to 18th of September, and we would know more. Thanks for listening in. Do share your feedback, your comments, and thoughts on this podcast. A few interesting podcasts are lined up going forward over the next 3 to 6 months, and I hope you enjoy the podcast as much as I enjoyed doing this. Thanks a lot. Stay safe.